All right. Hi, gang. This is a track walkthrough from our track Guestlist, a collaboration with Harji and Vice Luna. It's been released on Human by Default, Bedouin's label, last week on Friday. Feedback has been really great, really happy. A lot of people seem to like it, so it is only natural for me to give you a track walkthrough of all the details. I'm not gonna play this whole track now. We just gonna jump in right away. This is a 60 track session, so it's a bit more going on than in my usual tracks. Sorry, sip of broth. Spicy. And yeah, let's go. We are starting with the low end. As you see, I'm grouping the low end. But there's absolutely no processing happening in those together. It's just an organization tool. Then we have the kick drum. Very deep sounding, subtle kick drum. Not much of a strong transient, but a very nice low end. Just a quick single listen. And if you take a look at the fundamental frequency of the kick drum, it's literally where you want to have it, 48 hertz. Something between 46 and 52 hertz is usually the sweet spot for a very nice kick drum, for a very nice low end punch in the kick drum. Then you see we have a EQ afterwards, just rolling off the very low end. I always do that. I think it frees up a little bit of space on very big speakers, so that's a good thing. Do it. And rolling off the high, just a tiny bit, just to make the transient more subtle even. And then we have a first interesting groove element, which is one of my favorite plugins, especially for those low conga bongo sounds. It's a synthesizer. This thing actually exists in real as a groove box. I don't know. I think it's Japanese. You can buy it for like $100 at the moment at the Reverb if you want a hardware version. It's like 30 years old or something. This is obviously a very good emulation, and this is how it sounds with the kick drum. So only really the conga sound. Rolling off the hi-hats, EQing out some resonant content of the conga. Another filter, then a K-clip, it's a clipper. You can see it's actually clipping off a little bit of the peaks. The reason why I do that is I really like to have my bass sounds dialed in for the whole track. So the whole track fully there, fully mixed. You have the whole time the pressure of the low end. And I think if that's a stable groove, everything else on top makes so much more sense, and it's much easier to get a groove going if the low end is like consistently well mixed, and it's also the reason why I don't have too much velocity changes in my bass lines usually. But obviously you want some, so it's a thin line where you can walk on, and sometimes you fall off because too much velocity, and or it's not groovy enough, then you have no velocity. It's more of a feeling than a technical mix. Now let's go to the actual bass line. It's a loud. It's a recording. This one is from my Intel Atlantis synthesizer. Let me see if I have a picture here. Intel, this guy. Yeah, very clean sounding sine wave, and you can add a bit of a distortion. This is actually the model after the one I'm using, so it's a bit different, but I trust this one has the exact same power and the sine wave. And the sub mixer here, so you add a little noise. You can add another sub oscillator. It has like full control over the filter envelopes, so I really love it, honestly. And this is also the one I'm using for my live set with the modular rack as a main bass sound. Let's go back here. Yeah, and as it's audio recorder, we don't have MIDI, so I cannot show you the MIDI file, but I can show you my processing. And that is pretty simple for bassline. Just rolling off the hi-hat, I really want to focus on the low end. I don't want any high end on top of it, because in the next channel you will see why. Low end extender, yeah, what this plugin does, it's literally decreasing the dynamic range in the low end, so it pulls up those parts here after the initial attack, and sustains them a bit longer. So as I said before, it's just another tool to get more consistency in your bassline. That's why the attack here on the compressor is very slow and a fast release, ratio 4:1. I always say, if you compress, it's 4:1, or do not compress at all. That's my vibe. Just sound-wise and how much a compressor can alter the signal. I think that's a really good ratio, and 10 is always too aggressive for me. And 2 is like, why am I using it at all? It's like almost inaudible. This sidechainer is like my favorite. It works with transient detection, not with a time constant. So it is immediate and not like Ableton's compressor. You might be familiar with the problem of a click in there if you sidechain very hard. So this will never click. Again, I'm rolling off the very low end on the bass line, and then another limiter to catch like peaks. Again, just to have a very consistent bass line. And this is basically the full low end. Kick drum, a low end percussion, and the bass. The low end percussion sits probably around 80 hertz. Just let me get this straight. Yeah, 120 hertz. The biggest fundamental, and some punch around low end, so that works well. And then we have this whole